Hello and welcome everybody to the AV Exchange presented by Starin. I'm your host, Joe Dunbar, and it is the 9th today, January 9th, 2025. We're in the new year. We got season 1 behind us. This is the first episode of season 2 for us. I'm always excited. You guys know I'm always excited. We've got some new brands in the house today. Kiloview. My good friend Simone from Kiloview is in the house, so we're going to get introduced to Simone and take a deep dive, get an introduction into Kiloview for everybody who's new to it. But first, I'm about to launch this poll for everybody because I know so many of you have been here before. We got a lot of repeat customers, and I love that. I've launched a poll real quick for everybody to go ahead and check in on. Please go ahead and let us know how familiar you are with Kiloview and kind of what channel you're coming from. Before we dive into all the things we're going to talk about, please use the Q&A for questions. We really try to keep this conversational and discussional, so the more questions you can feed us, the more we can kind of talk specifically to what your questions and needs are, and not have to stick to the general stuff. Though I suspect, Simone, that we might get a lot of general topics today because some folks are going to be new to the brand, including myself being somewhat new to the brand. So I'm excited about that. Please use the chat for discussion, folks. I encourage everybody to sound off and let us know where you're from. The AV nomad that I am, I was in Southern Nevada last time. I'm now hiding out in Arizona. As the weather gets colder, I keep moving closer to the sun, and just to stay thawed out for you guys. I dropped the poll already, so we don't need to get into that right now. As always, we do appreciate everybody giving us their time, and we want to show that a little bit as best we can. So at the end, there will be a raffle. We will give away a $50 Amazon gift card, and so make sure you stick around for that. I always caveat this: the more questions you guys pose to us, I will put your name in there again in the random wheel generator, so that you get a better chance of winning that. But they need to be real questions, legitimate questions. Don't just start throwing random stuff at us to cheat and get your name in there. So we appreciate that. I skipped over the agenda a little bit. I got too excited about jumping into it, Simone. We're going to talk intro to Kiloview is kind of the whole kind of over the theme that we're trying to look for this year. We want to give everybody a look into Kiloview, who they are, what they do, what they make, why you should know them. This is specifically going to dive into IP and NDI solutions. We're going to look at streaming and bonding solutions and talk about some applications and verticals where Kiloview is active, and maybe some triggers for you to look out for as an integrator on when to use Kiloview and their solutions and their products. So I'm going to kick over and introduce Simone Messina. I hope I'm getting that right. My friend Simone is all the way in Italy joining us this evening. How are you doing, Simone? Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Joe. It's a really great pleasure and great pronunciation, I have to say. The best pronunciation I've seen for Italian name.
I'm doing my best. And I appreciate it. Before we dive into Kiloview and an overview, Simone, can you just give us a little bit about your background, a quick introduction to yourself, what you do at Kiloview, and kind of how you ended up there?
Yeah, sure. My name is Simone Messina, and I'm technically speaking, I'm in the broadcast field since 2011. I worked firstly as anyone in the broadcast field is an audio engineer, and then I moved to video quite soon, especially into audio over IP. And then I met Kiloview like 3 years ago for the first, testing over their bonding series, the legacy P1 and P2 series, and we become strictly great friends and start to work together and cooperate. And now I'm holding the technical specialist role for the company.
I appreciate that, man. Shout out to somebody who dropped it in the questions. James Cowan, thank you so much. The chat was disabled. I have enabled it, people. I think it should be working now. So please do go ahead and give that a shot. Let us know where you are. So Simone has been in the broadcast space for a little bit. We got, looking at the poll results right now, most of the folks, all of the people, I've got a couple of options: new to Kiloview, somewhat familiar with Kiloview, and very familiar with Kiloview. Everybody in attendance here today has said that they are either new to Kiloview or somewhat familiar with Kiloview. So I think this is going to be a great chance to give people an introductory course, kind of the 30,000 foot view. I do want to talk about a couple of products because there are some that, certainly get me excited. So we will dive into some of those for sure. But really, this is going to be about like an introduction so people can get more familiar with Kiloview. I'm excited to dive into it. Simone, are you ready? I'm going to question one right out of the gate. Here we go.
That's good.
The Kiloview philosophy on the website is listed as any in, any out, anywhere. And I think that is an awesome philosophy for a company that does video transport solutions. Um, can you talk? That's it's pretty broad though. So that 30,000 foot view for somebody new to Kiloview, can you just talk a little bit about who Kiloview is and what Kiloview does?
Yeah, surely. Like Kiloview, as you mentioned, basically the any in, any out, anywhere is because we works as firstly a company that builds up encoders in the baseband world, and we translated pretty much soon into audio video over IP, and especially we pioneered the NDI technology. Not many knows, but Kiloview was and is actually the OEM manufacturer for Nutec Spark. So we are the company that built the first NDI encoder in the world. So we are really leadership this kind of technology, and especially in this last 3 to 4 years, the company is moved forward in advanced technology, especially on the broadcast level, to leverage 4K, HDR, and especially all the NDI's technologies. And we're looking forward, of course, to other video over IP standards. Actually, we have introduced Dante. So we're gonna move also some other new products over the Dante environment. For the moment, we got Dante AVH. And so yes, it's quite challenging, but at the same time, as I always said to our people out there, Kiloview is not a company that makes box or software, but it's a company that gets you from point A to point B quite easily and reach out every kind of single aspect of your production and what your needs. That's pretty much what I want to say about that.
No, that's a great explanation. We already got a question out of the gate, so it's a general topic, so I'm gonna throw it at you right away. Scott had wanted to know if Kiloview offers TAA compliant solutions, and I don't know if you'll know this off the top of your head. If you don't, that's okay. But just curious, do you know, are there any TAA compliant solutions?
Honestly, I'm not the most
That's all right. I wasn't
the
sure if
most. I guess so. I won't say like 100% everything, but I think yes. On some of the products, definitely. But I don't have the list on my head right now. But definitely, you can reach out the support team, and Judith herself can answer really better than me on that. But yes.
Scott out there, I appreciate the answer, Simone. Scott, I'm making a note to follow up with you. Obviously, a lot of us know, but not everybody knows TAA compliance is a U.S. regulatory regulation, I suppose, that components are made in a country and produced in a country that has a fair trade relationship with the United States. So it is particular to North America, where most of our folks are attending from today. Not all. I see James calling up in Oregon there. So shout out, James, for joining us. So a question off the bat, Scott, I will follow up with you. I appreciate that question. That's a good one that I really am going to want to get some answers for too.
Like for real, as I said, like I would say 99.9% is of course PAA compliant, but it's just what we do. We are present in every country in the world, so definitely. And as I said, we are also all manufacturers for other brands, so definitely
Yeah.
we don't have to get any problem with that.
Yeah, that's a really strong part of the relationship that I'm guessing we'll end up touching on kind of throughout the conversation here. So, kind of moving on a little bit, the next question I had for you is really more about you mentioned IP and NDI. We're talking about video transmission. The market is obviously kind of flooded with solutions here. So, I mean, we have a bunch of systems integrators on the call. Why Kiloview? Why Kiloview for our systems integration partners out there? What are the advantages?
Yeah, why Kiloview? Good question. As I said before, well, our place in a really simple matters. Kiloview has every single product that you might need in production or system integration, from encoders, decoders, transcoders, and software platforms that can work really shiningly within themselves in Kiloview environment, but we are not locking you to get any other brands to work within us as far as supports the same codecs like NDI, SRT, RTMP, and all those codecs you might need. So the beauty of that is that we are kind of, I would say codec agnostic or something like that. So we can merge into hybrid scenarios when you have to translate, for example, baseband to IP from old systems and stuff like that. Kiloview does help you in a way that probably there's a few companies that can follow up point A to point B quite completely in this matter, because we, as I said, it's not just the box itself, it's more like an ecosystem top. Is about having products designed on top of customer requirements. Most of the products actually comes from some requirements from customers that maybe have some products and that says, oh, but I need this feature, I need to add this one, and maybe we bring it back, all the ideas, and create something unique. And I will also show you later on a few products that I got connected within. So yeah, it's pretty
Awesome.
much a big environment and an ecosystem more than just the product itself.
More than just the product itself. I appreciate that, and I think that that counts for something. And frankly, kind of coming back to the fact that I'm gonna try not to harp on this the whole meeting here and the whole conversation, so that people don't get sick of it. But it's like, what a huge advantage that Kiloview is a manufacturer and OEM manufacturer for so many of the NDI and IP solutions out there. Going straight to the source for a lot of these people, a lot of these solutions. And what a huge feather in your cap that you developed the first NDI solutions out there in partnership with New Tech and some other companies. That's so cool. So you guys go back as far as it goes with NDI. Scott had a great question about NDI that I want to call up, and I don't want to spend too much time getting into the specifics on it, but Scott had asked, NDI has several compression levels. There are different types of NDI. That is certainly accurate. So can we just take a second and kind of step through the different tiers of NDI, from full NDI to the NDI HX level, so that the folks kind of know what we're talking about here?
Yeah, absolutely. So to all the people who doesn't know, NDI has mainly two flavors, the NDI high bandwidth and the NDI HX. So pretty straightforward. NDI high bandwidth is like iframe solution codec that is really pretty similar to something like ProRes, so super high quality, really low latency. On the paper, we're talking about like 1 frame of latency. And NDI HX instead is H.264 or H.265 compression, and it basically has a little bit more latency, but it will stick within like 1/8 of the bandwidth requirement from something like NDI high bandwidth. And also on that, I will give it a shot. We were the first manufacturer bringing NDI HX3, which is the latest technology for NDI HX, to be shown at NAB last year in Vegas. So NDI HX3 basically is really closer and closer, getting closer to NDI high bandwidth, so really small in bandwidth consumption, but really small even in latency. So we are shortage, that compression to uncompressed latency in between, because of course, CPU advantages and FPGA really powerful these days that makes these things possible.
That is a great explanation. I appreciate it. We're basically taking away that there are two flavors of NDI, the HX and the full bandwidth version. So there are some great questions getting lined up, but they're going to fit into our conversation a little later. So please keep the questions coming in the Q&A section, and I will squeeze those into the conversation when they make some sense. There's one right now for some verticals and applications, but I want to get to that a little bit later. Simona, I would love to jump into the products. We have a lot of folks that are, like I said, in systems integration and in design and engineer roles on the call. So I think kind of taking a look at the products is my next place I'd like to go. For me, it was the P3 and the P3 Mini. that I was initially introduced to and super impressed with. I mean, awesome products. Can you tell us a little bit about the P3 line and the other streaming solutions that the Kiloview lineup has?
Yeah, sure. P3 basically is our next project over the P1 and P2 lineup we had since this year. Basically, we are getting the bonding bell pack technology, but something really differently from whatever other brand manufacturer you might have seen, because we were, for the first time ever, we get the server, so the part that you need for the bonding and then management, completely free of charge and easy to be deployed for everyone. It's as easy as a copy and paste one line of code, so you don't need to be IT genius or something like that. You can go on cloud, you can go on prem. And for the first time ever, also we show we can bring NDI HX technology with this kind of bonding technology. So we show to people, and I will show you later in live, that we can basically get IP over IP completely without even using SDI or HDMI cable. So you have your bell pack, you have your server, you transcode NDI HX, and you good to go directly into your production switcher like TriCaster, vMix, OBS, whatever switch you use that allows you to get NDI and NDI checks. You're pretty straightforward, and this is like the beauty of technology advantages we bring into this new product.
Super flexible. Do you have any visuals? I know you have some.
Yeah,
some
I've got some slides, and I can show you then also.
Yeah,
Let me just connect. Okay, so basically, this is the P3. As I mentioned before, it kind of might remind you. The shape is kind of familiar to anyone who's working with the bonding bell packs. But the cool thing is it's a completely modular design. So inside of the unit, there's four modems. You can swap like between a 4G and 5G modems. And so it's completely modular. So if the technology will change, for example, we're going to have like more than 5G connection in the future, you will be able to just simply swap the modems inside and continue to use the bonding bell pack with the same technology over time. And it's HDMI 4K 30p compliant and 1080p 60 over the SDI, both H.264, H.265, and it's controlled completely through our bonding management software, which is the Kilolink Server Pro. If you don't mind, Joe, I probably would like to show you the web browser UI so that people can have a look on it, on the P3 itself.
Absolutely.
So there we go, I guess. So this is the interface you have on your P3 bonding bell pack. As you might notice, it's quite straight in your face, like there's the preview of your signals, there's all the connection you have, the video encoding, the audio tab, it's a redundant battery setup, so you can go up to something ridiculous like 9 hours of stream with just simply the two batteries, and you can unswappable one of those two and still have like 2.5 to 3 hours streaming. So really impressive. You can record inside of the unit because, as I mentioned, there will be not just the modems inside, but there's Wi-Fi and SD card terminal. So you can record inside, so you not always have to complain, oh, might have lose my feed while recording and streaming to the studio. No, you always get ready to go, and you always have a failover setup of the streaming and recording. And this is the funny part. This is the Kilolink server, what I mentioned before. So this application is handling all the management and the bonding of the product itself. So the cool part is every Kiloview product can be linked to the server and can be seen completely remotely over the same instance. So what I'm showing you is the same interface, and I can get this on the cloud or Amazon AWS or whatever other platform you use, or on-premise on a Linux machine, and you will be able to control your encoder wherever you are, even if from the phone, from a tablet. And from here, you got all the resources, all the network status, the previews, and you add all your streaming channels. Each P3 can go like 8 different streaming channel within just itself. So you can have mix it like RTMP, SRT, HLS. And as I mentioned before, the cool part of it, it has NDI HX. And for the first time ever, is really kind of revolutionary. And maybe I can show you something. Let me see.
Yeah, please.
So as you notice, I've added, okay, I got NDI HX, right? And this is like, okay, I got my NDI HX ready to go. Let me see if I can show you this up, because this is basically the server I'm running is in on-prem and is working quite easily on a virtual machine. So whatever VirtualBox you have, this is, as I said, is not like for IT guys. Trust me. Like if I tell you, I'm not born as an IT guy, but this is kind of really easy. And once you build it up, let me see. I show you probably the vMix interface. So when you go into the Add Input tab, you will be able to see Kilolink, and I got the P3. So I press OK, and there you have your signal. So easy as that. As you notice, I don't put any cable at all. It's just the Ethernet connection, and I get straight on my vMix or my TriCaster. I straight get my signal over IP. And that's incredible, because you can have like a fleet of P3s and P3 minis connected to the same server and send this NDI HX feed not only in the local area network, because I will bring you something that is really interesting. Within the NDI bridge, this is basically a point to multi-point with the infinite solution. That's really kind of blows my mind.
Yeah, I'm Simona, every time I do this stream, I have to often remind myself that I'm hosting and doing all these other things, because I tend to kind of get lost in the nerdery here. This is so cool. I love to see how easy it was to work through that. I love the web UI, real simple dashboard that brings up everything you need, and you can do your configuration there. So it sounds like it's a real flexible solution. Can you kind of tell us a little bit, the P3, the P3 Mini, how did those two, would you use one in place of the other? When would you use one over the other? Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yes, basically speaking, we got a P3. It's, as I said, it's a modular design, and it's our flagship one, which is able of 4K 30p over HDMI, while the P3 Mini is limited to 4G only, so no 5G available, and 1080p only. But it's still quite remarkable in terms of size. So the cool part of the P3 Mini, and sorry, because I wasn't prepared about that, but I will do like the real technician, and I'll move my chair over my studio just to show you the product itself, which is this small guy right here. So this is how compact is the P3 Mini. Basically, you can put it into your backpack so easily. It's just over like less than 1 kilo, and you got like 3 SIM modules, Wi-Fi, Ethernet. So this is like for the more run and gun type of ENG camera operator. If you're not like hooked up to the broadcaster grade level, you can still have a possibility to use the same technology Kiloview brings into the game. So head-to-head is a not apple-to-apple comparison, but you have the same kind of products, and it's still H.264 and H.265. So, but it's just, some limitation on the technical aspect. But you have 2 boxes that you can merge together, even in different production scenarios, and and it works, everything works on the same platform. That's what I'm saying in the ecosystem. So you don't have to get crazy, different subscription or something like that. You have just one platform. You connect everything to the same kind of platform, both encoders, decoders, transcoder, and media gateways, and you can control everything from there.
Wow.
So
So really the differences are going to be kind of the hardware limitations, and selecting the right one is going to depend on if you need 5G, then you can go this route. If
yes.
1080p is okay as a limitation in terms of resolution, then you can go that route. That makes some sense to me. I appreciate that. We so talking about the P3 and the P3 Mini and getting an introduction to those solutions, can we talk? I'm kind of transitioning now into like applications, verticals, case studies, things like that. These technologies can really be used anywhere. So traditionally, we've seen them used in this type of technology utilized in broadcast space. But to the point that you made, the technology has become more affordable, more flexible and versatile, and smaller in footprint, so that you can use it in a lot of situations. We were talking, you mentioned run and gun applications. Certainly, this is designed for folks that are mobile. Where do you guys see these being used most? Are there any verticals and applications where these could be leveraged in a big way, but you're not seeing tick up yet? Kind of what does the application market look like?
From a standpoint of view, and this is like just my technical, side of it, like the one that works every day with this kind of product. So basically, every kind of sports scenario will apply kind of crazy with those kind of products, because it enables you to get the job done without moving like four OB vans to the place. You can have like your camera operator and a bunch of bonding backpack, and as I show it, so basically we also remove the, if you will, the basement part from it, because even a guy with a laptop can just bring it in some NDI HX feed and be like really lightweight production scenarios. So like for sure sports, we've seen this is really great for hours of worship to connect multiple churches all together. And we have some case history about all those kind of, setup environments, but definitely sport, conventional, and hours of worship, and also medical, because sometimes they have to connect multiple centers to see operation around the world, and maybe they need some sort of encryption stuff, because of course I don't get in depth of the product itself, but you can expect any kind of technology you see in all those other brand manufacturers. We have intercom for each of the bonding backpack, and for each of the encoders, decoders. So everything that doesn't come as a box version, it's just a software related piece that connects to our products. So that's the beauty of it. So as I mentioned, for example, you get the intercom and you get directly into the software-based solution that can be stacked on top of the Kilolink Server Pro. So yeah, there's a
Now,
lot of scenarios when you can have this product for real, and especially that gives you the possibility to shrink it down, your production, in something that can fit really in a backpack. That's crazy.
I love that we keep coming back to that. It's like throwing a backpack. You were talking about sporting events. And in a professional production situation, obviously we're talking about rolling trucks and there's infrastructure in the buildings and everything like that. But we have seen a huge jump in, I don't want to call it amateur sports. I mean, collegiate sports, but also like amateur level sporting groups that, have improved their production quality and their broadcast. They have all these features available from them now, where you can sign up for, a month or a year worth of their stream. And from these leagues, you can get all of the games, and the games are put together with tools like this and solutions like this that have become far more versatile and flexible, and more affordable, which is why, now it's really opened up the market to a lot of different verticals. To your point, just about anywhere you can dream it up. If we've got to move video, this can be a great way to do it. This leads into a question we got. We had an anonymous asker wants to know, understanding that Kiloview does a lot of NDI conversion, They're asking if these products are for handling larger video infrastructure routing and recording, or are these really designed for a smaller footprint, 1-to-1, 2-to-2? Like what does that look like, or is it open to the entire range?
Yeah, as I mentioned, we have plenty of products, and if you don't mind, I will show you this one on the PPT deck. This is our Cube series.
Yeah.
So basically, this is coming as the first NDI matrix solution in the business. So we built everything I show you is a hardware-based design, but we also ship the software compliant parts, if you will. So if you are, as you mentioned, if you have to scale up to unlimited crazy channels, thousands of NDI feed, we can fit this into a custom rack design. But this is the Cube X1. And as I mentioned, this is a NDI and NDI-HX router. It is actually 2-unit height for half unit wide. So you can put two of those together. It's a redundant PSU up to 4K 60, both handle NDI, NDI-HX, and NDI-HX3. And the cool part is completely built on top of ARM technology. So this is great because, phones and products like that as these kind of computer units that makes able to transcode a lot of signals simultaneously. And that's impressive because we can tune the hardware specifically to the task we want to do. In fact, what we have done is to make a companion for the X1, which is the R1. This is the recording system, as this one really impressive. If you know recording, I got tons of SSDs. Every camera should get its SDI, HDMI cable, but no, because this unit can be just connected with one fiber cable or one Ethernet cable, and you can record 9 feed of 1080p NDI and NDI-HX products feed. So this into just half rack length, you can record 9 feed over NVMe drives, so super fast speed drives. And you can, of course, record into NAS. All the 2 units got amazing touch screen. It can go, Speed HQ, full NDI, NDI-HX, H.264, H.265. And this comes really handy for something like if you are like a TriCaster or vMix user, you're always wondering, okay, I can record this with my software application, but what if I want some backup? What if I don't want to put everything to stress out the CPU, the GPU on my product? Well, I can use something like that. And I can show you actually some key points of the products themselves because I got connected in here. So
Yeah,
let me
I'm all
bring
about seeing the real hardware.
Let me bring in the.
Simona, did we lose your audio? We lost your audio. You guys, I'm nerding out a little hard here. This is kind of my first opportunity to get a peek at these boxes more in depth. And I'm thinking so much about House of Worship
Hello?
opportunities. Yeah, but we got you back.
I got back. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I moved too far to get the audio mic. Okay. So this on top here is the R1. And as I mentioned, you can tell I got now 4 sources. I can go 1 sources. I can go 9 sources. So the cool part of this product is as simple as it is. You just press the rack button and it starts to rack. Simple as that. You will see the SSD will come to light up. And whenever I want to stop it, I can simply press the stop button and there you go. The cool part is this SSD drives can actually be removed and is a sort of PCI Express NVMe drives that can be replaced. And we offer up to 4 terabytes drives inside. So to get a source, you just simply scroll to your feeds you have, you just tap it in and you get the source with a preview, no matter what NDI or NDI-HX. And one of the coolest feature is that you can, of course, watching what you have recorded. You can scrub in through, you can move your, timeline, and that's simple as that. You can do directly from the touchscreen panel, from the UI in the browser, and that's simple as that. And as you can see, that this matches the same kind of footprint. And underneath here is the NDI router, so the X1. The X1 will show any feeds you got inside of the unit itself. You can preview full screen every of the feeds you got. This is a 16 by 32 channel output. So with just this small footprint, you can route basically 16 feeds to multiple outputs at the same time. And you just need to press the output and press the number of the source you want to feed in. As simple as that. And as I mentioned, this is pretty much unique in its own because you can't find anything like that outside. Like, there's a lot of software version that makes this easy. But at the same time, this hardware is incredible for people who came from the basement workflow production that can just take this product, put it on the desk and says, oh, okay, I know what router does, so I can use this stuff. I'm just doing that with IP technology. And that's simple as that. You can actually, one of our greatest tasks is to make all the equipment not dying. So we can make it hybrid. So we can transcode those SDI to NDI, NDI to SDI, and whatsoever. So this is the beauty. The beauty is to connect point A to point B with just a single Ethernet cable and also cross the internet, because I didn't mention that, but our N60 and N50, which is our I/O module, which encodes decoders, recently have added NDI bridge into the game. So it's no longer just a box that sends NDI into the local area network, but it's for the wide area network now. So you will be able to produce in the venue, and you will be able to send this whenever in the world without not cost addition at all.
That is so cool. When we had an audio drop out there, I was just I'm kind of getting lost in the nerdery here, but I'm thinking about applications where this could go. One of the things, Simona, I love about the virtualization of everything and the fact that we can now do so much within software and computers and servers is the flexibility that it brings. One of the things I don't like is the restriction on that server or computer or that hardware. You alluded to this when you mentioned recording, right? There are a lot of software applications. I mean, vMix is a great example, right? That's really powerful and enables recording within that PC that's running that. But now you're using resources for recording, and you're talking about recording, how many channels you guys were talking about? I think it was 9. Did you say 9 channels?
9 channel, full NDI, full HD, and 4 channels, 4K 60p. So we both record full NDI or NDI HX, and we can both record into full NDI and transcode into compressed H.264, H.265. We just changed, of course, the limitation on the channel count. If you transcode, you got 4 channel into 1080p and 1 channel 4K. But if you record in straight full NDI, which is of course the best quality you can get because it's, as I said, it's iframe codec, you can go up to 9 for 1080p and 4 for 4K.
Wow. So this is the flexibility that systems integrators and install technicians are looking for. Boxes that can, we have a hardware solution here that can check a lot of boxes for our needs. And then they end up in an application, it would be great if it could also do this. And it seems like you guys have really thought of everything with these types of solutions and taking what used to be a real robust system that would include, a couple of 44U racks of hardware with cables flooding in, right? What does the infrastructure look like? This is just an NDI solution, so I'm assuming, but I want to get clarification from you, that behind the cubes here, we're looking at a network switch that's got NDI, Ethernet cables running into it, and we're just connecting to that on the network, and that's it, right?
Yeah, that's it. Like basically, was my first next drop bomb will be something like crazy because we're working on something like that, even more complete and more compact, but easily as you mentioned. Basically, you got the Ethernet and connect point A to point B. What you need is just a switch, a capable switch for that. And we actually have shown at IBC this year our next gen thought about what the broadcast should aim to. So I want to show you this products right here.
Yeah,
We've
please.
presented IBC. This is the RF02. What I've shown you actually as the N60s, N50s, encoders like E3, decoders like D350, we plan to get into 2 unit rack up to 18 channels of no matter encoding, decoding, transcoding, media gateway, NDI bridge. We are thinking with something new in mind. So this product that will be probably you will be able to see during ICE in Barcelona in just a month right now, and definitely you will see at NAB this year in Vegas. Will be able to comprehensively put everything together into 2 unit rack, and the cool part is every card can it's just being powered by the unit, but not also being powered because each card can be daisy chained into an internal switch. So the product itself is an like just like give me back. So the product itself, it will be 100 gigabit switch. You connect the card. You just need one cable to your main switch, or you can use the unit itself as a main switch to connect everything together. So no more even patches in between the cards themselves. We added that for security reason and appliance, for example, television or radio station that might need 2 different separate network. But the cool part is you snap the card, no matter encode, decode, transcode, and it will connect automatically into an internal. As I mentioned, everything is based on Docker containers, so it's all virtualized environment, and we bring it actually as switch inside the unit itself. So
Wow.
our idea is to shrink it everything as much as possible to give you 2 unit rack and a high density up to 72 channels of physical baseband connection. So you can tell, I've got so many requests during trade show because people says, oh, okay, this something I can fit both in an OB van or a TV studio that
Right.
just give me 2 unit rack, but I can have 72 channels. Say what? Like that's crazy, right?
Yeah, that's
And you
more
can
than
mix and
enough.
match, yeah, inputs to outputs, transcoding only IP solution, and inside of that, there's also a compute unit that will handle all those software parts I've mentioned before. So Kilolink, Server Pro, and Kiloview Intercom server, and all our software can run in the same machine. So it's a huge workstation that holds some cards inside. So that's the beauty of what Kiloview thinking for the future of this, great market of encoding, decoding, audio over IP solutions.
I mean, again, this is almost, I need to maybe do a little more homework and get a more familiar before we do these, because now I'm kind of getting lost in the being an audience member more than being a host. I have so many questions. I love to see the forward thinking. And you kind of led me to what was really my next and final question, which is about the roadmap. So that's a big solution that you launched, and we'll be able to see at ISE, NAB, Infocom. I'm sure all those places. Is there anything else exciting on the roadmap that you can give us a peek into in 2025 and what's coming? Is that the big ticket, or is there any other stuff you guys are hiding up your sleeves?
uh, okay, I cannot like overbalance myself. I will gonna zip my mouth with that. But you have definitely to be prepared to NAB time because that will be something that will blows your mind out. and it will be a partner to this kind of project I showed you before, the RF02, because the cool part is getting all the encoding, decoding environment, but we are also thinking about how to manage that. That's what I can say about that. So I will leave you with this big question, but definitely be sure to have something really exciting to be seen at NAB time for sure.
I cannot wait. I will be at NAB in Las Vegas on was April something. It's early to
Yeah.
mid-April, so I will see you there. We will definitely be shooting some video to give out to all the people who can attend, and I'm excited to show them even more from the Kiloview team. We're getting close to wrapping up here. I want to encourage all the folks. Hey, please go ahead and get any questions in if we didn't get to them, or you have any more questions that weren't touched on, or anything like that. James Cowan did ask about cost. And the question James posed to us is, what is the entry level cost for a full setup? James, that's a little bit of a tricky one to answer because it depends so much on what's needed, right? How many inputs, how many outputs? Are they mobile? Do you need any server infrastructure? Those types of things. But I think one thing we can touch on, the P3 and the P3 Mini. Do you know, Simona, off the top of your head? I know you're more on the tech side, so you might not know this, but do
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah. This
key
is
points on those?
yeah, if I'm not get wrong, like we are talking about $1,300 for the P3 Mini and around this two $599 for the P3, like with I guess the 4G cards, and of course the 5G cards, it will be a little bit more, depending on the region you are in what state, but definitely the huge part in the P3 section is just the modem, because you can go the 4G modem is quite achievable, the 5G modems as all the other brand manufacturer, because let me say this because this is really important. Kiloview, as you mentioned, is a OEM manufacturer. They did their product on their own. They developed the software, they build the hardware, they engineer the hardware, and they put the same kind of product technology you might find into some other brand manufacturers. So especially for the 5G modems, you will find out that those cards are the top leading 5G modems, not like some cheap one that you find out in somewhere else. So this is the only part that costs a little bit much more compared to the standards, but it's still quite less than I think the competitors out of there.
Definitely.
Especially thinking about the software comes completely for free, and no royalties or monthly fee is absolutely needed. So you just install it into. I already says we can do some further video in how to install KiloLink into 30 seconds, something like that. It's that easy. So yeah, sometimes I get fun. So with some customers during trade show, just showing, okay, I can do this in 30 seconds and you're ready to go. That's it.
That's so fast. I love
So,
that. Expedited. So, I did take a look while we were talking. It looks like MSRP on the P3 Mini is $11.99, so even less than what we were
oh,
thinking.
even less. Yeah.
Yeah, even
Okay.
less. And I guess if you wanted to put like a D260 or something on the back end of that, MSRP on those is around $400. So, you get an in and an out. You're not even hitting $2,000 yet at the MSRP level. So, for anybody in the resale market, you can kind of do some math there. We did mention, I'm grabbing it and dropping it in the chat right now. I'm not the best multitasker. Everybody hang with me. Kiloview will be at ISE. The stand number is 4M640. So if anybody's making the trip, certainly do go visit the folks over at Kiloview there and tell them we sent you. Simona, will you be at ISE this year?
As always.
As
Yes,
always.
sure.
They were trying to get me there, but man, I don't do well on long planes, long flights. So I was able to kind of wiggle my way out of it. But I will see you at NAB, which I'm looking forward to, and that will lead us right into Infocom. So plenty of content out between now and then. For sure, we will do some focuses and highlights on the product launch that we're teasing here. That's going to be coming at NAB. I can't wait to see that. Simona, we're kind of getting to the end. It looks like we've got all the questions dialed and answered. Before we go ahead and raffle away our $50 gift card, I just want to give you an opportunity. Thank you so much for joining us. Any closing thoughts that we should leave the people with?
Yeah, and this is like from the really technical part of me. So what I
Please.
say to every people who doesn't approach to the IP world yet, my best piece of advice is don't get scared, because once you get into it, you can't be back to something else ever again. And this is, trust me, this is like coming from the mouth of someone who has abandoned baseband like 5 years ago and did successfully events all over the world, even with some crazy case history scenarios where no baseband has been used at all, just IP. So IP is something that has been brought to us like a few years ago, and now it's really mature. So time is now to be ready to accomplish your production into audio video over IP. So don't get scared, especially if you join Kiloview brands. You will be covered with every aspect of your production. So don't get scared and approach this new incredible environment, because it really matters, and value your time to be spent on.
That is fantastic advice. I'm really glad you shared that with us. I appreciate it. Simone Messina from Kiloview, I appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time to educate us today and give us kind of a look into look under the hood with Kiloview, as they say. And I really appreciate that. And that great advice, I think, is spot on. If you're new to the IP world, this is a great time to get in. And certainly here at Starin and throughout the Midwich Group, we've got a ton of solutions that are forward looking like this. So please give us a shout, give your salesperson a shout. Watching this, and again, I say watching this because I really was turning into an attendee a lot of this time. It seems like it's easier than ever to kind of maybe switch gears, move from baseband. I think so much about in our market, House of Worship, collegiate sports, and amateur sports that really are looking to up their broadcast game. This seems like less expensive, less space requirements, and just more flexible solutions than what we've seen with baseband stuff in the past. So I really appreciate you showing us this stuff today, Simona. Thank you.
Thank you so much to get me here. Like, really much appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. Folks, if you want to get in touch with us, please reach out to your salesperson if you want more info about Kiloview or any of the brands that we carry. Certainly, we have Simona and his team available to help us if we need any of those types of resources. I want to thank you all for taking the time to join us, taking the time out of your day to give us some of your attention. I wish, Brandon, we need to work on like a drum roll clip or something for the gift card winner, but I did use our random wheel generator. Shout out to Barry Grossman on sticking with us and getting winning that $50 Amazon gift card. Again, I just want to say thanks to everybody. Stick around. We are back in a couple of weeks with more. I believe Single Wire is the next episode of the AV Exchange. So, of course, I'm excited about that. And until then, we thank you for visiting. We'll see you next time on the AV Exchange.